Hey guys,
It's me, TJ.
tonight we don't have typical youth. You might be hanging out with your class, but excuse me. Tonight we're not meeting, but you still might be meeting with your C group. So I was supposed to do the lesson for tonight, and I still wanted to get the chance to share it with you guys. And so we are going to dive into our second part of our four-part series called The Four Acts of Love. And so Tim last week talked to you guys about the first act, which is loving those that are hard to love. We all have people that we know that are probably really hard to love. So we're going to jump into the second act of love in our four acts of love, which is fearless conversations. And so what is a fearless conversation? Fearless conversations are when we are having conversations that build trust with others so that we have this open door to talk about Jesus. Jesus gives us a great example of having a fearless conversation in John 3, 1 through 21, where he's talking to a man named Nicodemus, who's a Pharisee, a religious leader who knows everything about the Old Testament of the Bible. And he's a really smart guy, but Jesus is having a bold conversation with him, sharing with him the truth about what is really going on and who he really is. And so we kind of get a glimpse to what it's like to have these conversations that lead to Jesus. So who are we going to have these conversations with? These conversations can be with people you know or people you don't know. I have a friend who every time we go out to eat or we go to the store, it's always taking a long time because he is so intentional with talking to whoever's serving us about just their day, about who they are and getting to know them. He's always asking them how they're doing, and he is listening, and they're telling him all open and honestly how they're really doing. And he always asks, how can I pray for you? How can I share love with you? And they tell him, and there's conversation that's happening, and he is being so bold. It doesn't have to just happen with people we don't know. It can happen with people we do know, where we can have fearless conversations with friends from school or people we play sports with, where maybe we have something a little in common, or every time we're hanging out, it's always a joke and we're just goofing off and having fun. But those kind of relationships can lead to these genuine talks where you're really just sharing life and sharing truth and building this relationship that you have then the open space to share with them who Jesus is. So these fearless conversations are so important in how we love other people, because one of the greatest ways to love somebody is to tell them about Jesus. So here's something I want you to remember when thinking about fearless conversations with other people. I want you to think of the word troll. Now, it's not trolling people, all right? It's the word troll. We're not trolling people in conversations. We need to remember troll. The T in troll stands for truth. We need to be having truthful conversations with people. This isn't admitting to them that you had the last cookie in the cookie jar, or admitting to them that you tied their shoelaces together. Not telling them the truth. You're telling them the truth of the gospel, the truth of what life is really about. You're leading the conversation back to truth, back to what Jesus is. That is the ultimate truth. He is the truth, and we're leading conversations in truth. And this is something we need to be bold in, because it's so hard to sometimes tell people what is actually true. But with sharing with them what's actually true, we're really sharing with them love, and we're sharing Jesus with them. And so working our conversations in truth and telling people what we're about is so important when we're having these fearless conversations and being bold to tell people the truth. The R in troll stands for respect. So we need to be respectful in how we share the truth. We really do not need to be jerks about the gospel. We don't need to be so up in people's faces, yelling and arguing and shouting. We need to have respect in how we share the truth with them, how we talk with them, how we listen to them. Respect is so important because they're not going to want to hear what you have to say if they don't think that you're respecting them. So be respectful. We're not trying to jam Jesus down people's throats. We want people to actually hear it.
We want people to actually understand Jesus, and that is not by arguing, but that's by being respectful to them. The O in troll stands for open up. We need to be open about who we are, about what we are about what we feel, what we think. People tend to share to the extent of what you're sharing. So if we are sharing how we think, people will share what they think. If we're sharing how we feel, people will share how they feel. We need to open up about who we are. One of the most powerful ways to share the gospel in fearless conversations is to tell people your testimony and to tell people what Jesus has done for you and how your life has changed. And that is done by opening up. You're opening up to tell the truth in a respectful way. The first L in troll stands for love. All of this we do out of love. We need to remember why we're having these fearless conversations. It is because we love people so much that we're going to be uncomfortable, that we're going to be bold, and we're going to be fearless, and to tell them the truth by opening up in a respectful way. The second L in troll is half of what a conversation is, and that is to listen. Half of a conversation is you talking. The other half is you listening. People want to know that you're taking in what they think. No one's going to want to share with you how they feel if you're not listening to them. And no one's going to listen to you if you're not listening to them. By listening, we're really showing people that we're interested in them, that we want to know them, that we want to understand who they are. We're not just constantly having the whole part of the conversation where we're just talking about Jesus the whole time and they don't get a say in the matter. They don't get to talk at all. No, that's not a good conversation. Listening and taking the time to step back and hear what they have to say is so important to conversations because it keeps the conversation flowing. It keeps people continually wanting to be a part of the conversation, to hear what you have to say. Your friends will listen to you if they know you're listening to them. And there you go, a simple tool to remember fearless conversations and how to go about them. Remember, troll, truth, respect, open up, love, and listen. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video and for listening to me. Miss you guys. Hope to see you next week. Peace out.